Hey guys, you're with me today. This is my second video just in time for the 2-year anniversary of Fire Emblem Engage. But don't worry, you won't have to deal with me droning on for 11 minutes about my mid strategies today. This time we're talking about the post-battle sequences where you get to walk around the map in third person after you've beaten it in the grid view. Now before I say anything about this topic, I need to shout out our Lord and Savior, Any Austin, for this video format. I've linked his channel in the description. So basically, almost every map in this game comes with a section after the battle where you trade the top-down grid view for an over-the-shoulder third-person view of the map. This is an absolutely wild idea since almost every one of these maps in this 30-year-old series was designed to be viewed from a bird's-eye perspective. So what happens when they let you get up close and personal? Well, that's the purpose of today's video. Okay, I'll give you a hint. These post-battle maps can get really strange. You'll see in the video. So today we're going to do a tour of a few of the post-battle maps and find some of the nooks and crannies that the developers didn't think we'd notice. We're also going to take a moment to just exist in these spaces and think about what gives them their liminal vibe. So grab a drink and hang out with me for a few minutes while I talk about the unremarkable and odd places in Fire Emblem Engage. Okay, what are we looking at right now? So this is a fort. More specifically, this is a fort in the Flora Mill Town in Fierne. So what makes this kind of interesting? What's kind of funny about this is that it makes a lot of sense to have this here when you're looking at the strategic gameplay. It teaches you how to push forward, take hold of a spot, and kind of try to create your own choke point and strategize around a defensible position. So in the game, if you stand a unit up here, you get a 30 avoid bonus, and I think you get back 10 HP every turn. Now what's funny is that if you think about it here, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I guess it does make sense when you look at a archer or a mage. It would make sense that they could hang out up top and take shots at enemies without being, in the line of sight, so they can kind of stay safe up there. But imagine Alfred climbing up with his horse, or any other melee unit for that. I think it's kind of funny that you really can't do much as a melee unit. You kind of have to, I guess you'd walk up there and, throw your sword at them? I guess you could hide, but this isn't really a position you can attack from. So what did the developers do about this? They do need to show a battle animation for every fight, right? Well, let's take a look. Yep, they just pretend you're on an adjacent tile while you fight, and then toss you back on the fort after the battle is over. Alright, what's next? Why don't we go ahead and take a look at the water on this map? Okay, so here's another funny detail that I wanted to point out on this map, and I think we might be kind of getting to the point of this video, which in a lot of ways is kind of scrutinizing the map at a third-person level versus what most people see, because most people don't really hang out here. They kind of collect their little, trinkets and ore and animals and dip. But when you hang out here, you start to notice some things that don't really make a whole lot of sense. So one of those things is the water here. I think if you notice, there's a little bit of grass right over there. So I think the point I'm trying to make here is that this water is quite shallow. And I think it's a lot more believable in other maps that put you in, a lake or a river, some deep body of water, like the ocean or whatever. I think it makes sense that you can't traverse over there. But I don't know about you guys, but this is like a hop, skip, and a jump. I could personally probably kind of shimmy along this bridge or get my, ankles wet or just jump and make it to the other side. I don't think I would need a Pegasus
to do that for me. Now here is the last sort of odd component of this map. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I guess I do know you guys can see this. There is a lot of windmills. It is a mill town after all. So why don't we see if we can count the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I'm losing count here, but I think when I tried this, I got around 15 windmills.
So when I first started this section of the video, I was going to say this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, why does a small village with only 2 towns have 15 windmills in it? Like, how much flour do they need? But then I did some research on all the things windmills are capable of. So let me just rattle off a list here. They can, of course, still grind wheat. They can press seeds and nuts into crude oils. They can process tobacco and spices. They can process paints, dyes, and papers. And they can even be used for irrigation and flood prevention. Using this device called an Archimedes screw, they can kind of shovel water from lower areas up further inland. And then I realized that this is the chapter where the armorer and item shopkeeper join you. So are you guys seeing where I'm kind of going with this? That's right, I think it can be surmised that this town is the one producing all of the items and supplies that our army is using. Maybe even farming the food that's being used by the team as well. So why does this dinky little town with a population of like 7 people own and operate more windmills than half of Amsterdam? It's because your trash army is keeping them in business with a constant demand for heal staffs, elixirs, and HP tonics. And yes, I'm assuming that healing items are made out of crude oil and spices. Maybe with a little like magic sprinkled in there. I don't know how this shit works.
Oh, and one more thing, if you notice all the way over there, off in the distance you can see a bunch of little fields, which I'm assuming are being used to get the wheat to make the flour that these windmills are using, or I guess windmills are making. So a little bit of a commitment to the part here. So I think overall the cornucopia, if that's how you say that, the abundance of windmills makes sense in this map. So I'll let you guys slide this time.
Alright, that's all I wanted to talk about in this chapter, so let's get out of here. This place kind of gives me the creeps.
Here's another cheeky little post-game map. This is the end of chapter 15, the one where you meet Cedal and you have to kind of walk through this haunted desert castle thing. So I'm not sure if any of you looked outside of these windows, but you can really tell that they don't want you to be able to see what's on the other side of that little cliff. And it kind of gives this place a sense of not existing in a larger world. There's not like a real backdrop. You're kind of on this platform, some type of like sandy cliff. I think most of the windows have that same effect, which I thought was really unusual, kind of unique as far as the other maps that you can find in this game, where they do have some backdrop that you obviously can't get to, but you can at least see, and it makes you kind of feel like you're part of this world, at least the illusion. But there's no illusion here. It's kind of just this isolated little... Oh, what is that over there? You can almost see off this cliff. Not quite. And now, there is, I guess, before I talk about the coolest part of this map, let's look at these things. So I think these are supposed to increase avoid, and I think these actually do make sense. You know, if you're standing on this tile, someone's attacking you. Oh, quick dodge, weave around. It doesn't really make sense on a grid, because why would this be here? But at least when I'm down here, it's useful. It would definitely help me dodge attacks. Now, question is, how is this place lit? Where's this lighting coming from? So you look up here and whoa, got a full moon tonight. I thought that was pretty interesting. Didn't realize this place was lit by that giant moon. It's pretty sick. Alright, let's keep moving. So here's a funny little game I've been playing. So this is the map where you find Anna hiding in one of the chests over there. One of the chests that used to be over there. So the game is, and also I guess to add some context, this is where the boss of the chapter is, on that tile that you can kind of maybe see over there. So the game is, how long would this situation take to play out if it happened in real time? So they're in this little abandoned camp looking for Anna, who is like a little thief or something, trying to get into the treasure that they also want.
You still haven't found her?
No, I think she's pretty easy to find. She's actually right behind you. It's an empty building and she has red hair, so I don't know how you lost track of her. Yeah, she's right behind you, like 100 feet behind you. Yeah, like right there. You should be able to see her. I mean, you can just walk over there. It's not that far. Better hurry up, because Alir's coming. So how long would it take for her to get to Anna and kind of, you know, capture her or something? I'm not sure what she would do, but let's see how long it would take for her to just walk over there. So I'll add a little bit of time to my calculations here because, you know, I can't go all the way over there. Let's start the run in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so what's that about? You know, less than 10 seconds? Now if you add, you know, the additional time to get from all the way over there, that gives you like 15 seconds. So Anna's doing all this funny business, hiding in treasure chests, within, you know, the line of sight of this boss, of this camp. So I think that's pretty funny. This map makes no sense from this perspective. Also, look at this funny little pool thing. Alright, here we are in chapter 17. This is the pier, kind of like the dock area where these boats are. So as far as the kind of like what's happening in the story, this is when you have like 6 bosses. You have what's his name? Hortensia's dad. You have the 4 hounds, and then you also have Vale, and they're all standing somewhere around here for the fight. And they also burned down a village. Forgot about that part. So it's kind of a weird map, and I think you'll get a sense of that just kind of watching me walk around here. I wanted to touch on a couple extra strange pieces of this map. The first one, you take a look at this boat. Yeah, and there's a lot of water effects, but no music. And then at some point you'll hear like wood creaking. So those are like the only 2 sound effects in this entire map. So this boat has no textures, or I guess like no moving textures. Nothing really, no like sound effects. It's the most lifeless boat I've ever seen in a video game. No flapping on the sails, no ropes moving. Just kind of a weird kind of glossed over part of this map. It's just this empty boat, nobody on it. I don't know if that would not make sense with the narrative, but you would think if a boat is this big, you'd have like a crew, staff, I don't know, chefs. I think this boat is similarly kind of underused or ignored, besides just having it drawn in the backdrop. And let's continue our tour. Let's see if I can adopt this cat. Nice. Okay, so I think this place just has like a weird vibe to it. And I know that in the plot, this is supposed to be kind of one of the lowest times. There's obviously this village is burnt down and it's supposed to be sad, but I don't really feel sad when I walk around here. It just feels like kind of maybe surreal. Here's another fort. So here's the next place on the map that piqued my interest. And I'll tell you why as well. So first of all, does this place look familiar at all? I'll do a quick circle. So what gives this area of the map such a weird vibe to me? I think it all comes down to the feeling of returning to a place that's so familiar in a new context. I think like most of the people who play this map, it's a common place for your units to end up hiding. It's at the back of the map, so you're safe from your flank. And there's multiple barriers blocking you from the front, creating a solid place to try to survive against the massive amount of bosses in this chapter. So if you're like me, you spent literally tens of hours hiding here, trying to survive each turn as boss after boss comes at you. Managing resources, making sure no one dies. It all keeps you here focused and busy. So coming back here after all of that just feels odd. From so much activity to just nothing. It really gives you that effect of like a classroom after hours when there's just nobody there, or maybe an empty lobby in a game of Team Fortress 2 that you used to play all the time with your friends. Just quiet and still. And more than just the stillness, it's the contrast. It's the quiet when you compare it to how loud and energetic and chaotic it just was. It just gives this place such a weird vibe to me. This is the last place I wanted to show you all. We are at the end of chapter 3. If you remember from the game, this is when the Pegasus Knights fly in from over there. And, whoa, sorry for that flip, over here as well. I think there's not much in the way of like specific details on this map that I wanted to show you, more just the overall vibe. The music is kind of somber. It feels like a late night kind of vibe. It feels like a sleepover or something, or maybe like a dream. Like this kind of has dream lighting, if that makes sense. Kind of that like white blue light. Like you wake up in the middle of the night and go to, I don't know, get a glass of water or something, and the moon hits you through the window. This is what that light feels like. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys these dragons, some engravings in the pillars. And I guess this place is kind of designed for dragons, as evidenced by the size. It's a massive hallway. I don't know why Lumera can't just, walk like a human, but here we are. So that's going to be it from me. I've said what I had to say. Just enjoy the vibes in this room. And as always, thanks for watching.